Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How you doing today, my friend?
Good morning, Carlos. I am much better now that you're here. All I can say is we missed you yesterday. Hopefully, everything's all good on the home front.
Yes, everything is good. Everything is good. So
excellent. Well, it's good to have you back.
Man. Yeah,
I forget how much work it is to try and do all that stuff on your own. So I missed you.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks for covering. Glad that all I got of feedback is that you did a great show. So that's awesome, man. I know you can pull this show on your own. So thank you for that. It's not easy, but I know you can do it. So thanks for that.
I appreciate that,
guys.
Welcome. Speaking of things being back. For all those members that have been long awaiting the Benzinga news feed, just in our chat room, Benzinga's back. So there's a little link at the top there. If you click on that, it'll open a new browser. At the top of that, you've got the voice feed where you get live news immediately as it's happening all day. So I know a lot of people are looking for that squawk feature back. It's back, baby. So Benzinga Charlie, indeed, he's back. So we'll get to hear him make medical appointments and talk about news and small caps and all sorts of weird stuff. So, plus the important stuff, but it's all good. Yeah. So there you go. Just in case you hadn't seen it yet.
I love that thing, man. So, Brian, can we get a screenshot of my screen now? I took off the camera so it doesn't do the effect. But I want to show you guys where this is because this is really cool. So if you're new and the first time you're experiencing this, it's going to be right over here. This Benzinga logo is the one that Peter's talking about. You click on that and, all your members get access to it. You get this beautiful thing on here. If you want to hear the audio, this is the one where Peter's talking about. You click on that and you can hear the audio. And if you want to search news, it's over here. And Benzinga is one of the partners we work with, man. They're really good at news. We had some of these guys on before, Peter, and they're just amazing at the way they filter out news. So, yeah, take advantage, guys. Really, really cool. So we'll be using it for sure. All right, excellent. Peter, let's jump right to it. Economic calendar for today. What's happening this morning?
Indeed, we have a couple of economic events. Nothing major today, really, but a couple things that came out. We'll start with at the top here with the initial jobless claims. Forecast was 229,000 new jobless claims, and it actually came out slightly over that number at 243. Bad for the economy, good for the market usually when that happens. On the continuing jobless claims, pretty much came up right at target. You can see 1.86 million was the target number. 1.867 was the actual number. So, within 7,000 of that. So right on target. Later, the other one that we had was the Philly Fed manufacturing survey came out. Expectation was 2.9. Came in heavy, very much above that at 13.9. Now, this is a relative scale. It's really just a survey of Philadelphia manufacturers and how they're feeling. So this is actually quite a bullish number. Again, good for the economy, which in this case might actually be good for the market. It's tough to tell. We're sort of going up slightly, I guess, right now, but I don't see a huge reaction. Later this morning, we do have the U.S. leading economic indicators coming out, expecting to be a slight contraction in that number. That's at 10. At 10, we also have Goolsbee, who's taking the stage, and then another Fed speaker, Logan, who's speaking this afternoon. So some not much economic news, really, right? It's pretty light stuff. So mostly we're just going to be watching and seeing what the market's doing overall. Right now, as we've learned, it just takes political comments from either competitor in this U.S. political fight. Either current President Biden or Trump just have to start making some comments, and the market will move a little more heavily on those than any other economic event that we're seeing. So don't expect any of that today particularly, but you just never know. So we'll keep an eye on it. As Jared was saying in Engineering the Markets, if you were joining him there in our chat room, always a good source of information. We're probably heading towards an inside day. We had some big movement over the last couple of days. And today, well, we're sort of expecting things to calm down a little bit, but we'll see what happens. We could see continued sliding if the market doesn't get a few buyers. We need a few buyers in there to support things. But let's see what maybe some of the gappers tell us this morning, because I'm seeing a lot more green on my screen today than yesterday. Yesterday it was like red across the board. Today we're seeing a little more green. So, and some confusing ones, but we'll talk about some of these. So.
All right, absolutely. Let's dive into some of those right now. First one on deck, guys. If you look at the gap up and down list, WDB. So we'll start with that one and some semis bouncing back today. I see Nvidia, AMD, TSM, SMR. I forget what they are, but man, very heavy on tech after the sell-off yesterday. So
Yep.
BYD, can't wait to get to that one, Peter. That's one of our good buddies there. So we'll see what BYD's down 14%.
Yeah.
We'll jump on that pretty soon here. All right, let's start. WDB this morning. This is Warner Brothers, and these guys are up 6%, 1.4 million shares traded. So we got some action here. And over the last couple of days, you can see here they went from 738 to 8, from 8 to 838, and then now hitting as high as 9. I don't think we have looked, unless you looked at it yesterday, Peter. I don't think we have looked at this in the last couple of days. So what's driving this pop for Warner Brothers?
We didn't look at it, and I have to admit I'm confused. I don't understand what's happening here. So the news is that Warner Brothers may be cut out of a deal for the NBA rights, which they've held since the late 80s, I think. They've had the right, or 90s anyways. They've been able to broadcast NBA games for a while. Now, with the WNBA coming on board as part of the deal, there's expectation that Warner Brothers was going to take advantage of that. However, it looks like there's a deal being struck that's going to cut them out. A deal with Disney and Amazon and Comcast, and it looks like they're getting cut out of the deal. I don't know. Are people thinking that maybe they overpaid for the NBA rights? I mean, it is a $76 billion media deal that they wouldn't have to pay for. I'm not sure why it's going up. Like, normally this would be considered bad news, or I would have thought this was bad news, but seems not. I don't know. The stock's going up. That's all I can tell you. So, all right. Well, if anybody has some insight here as to what's happening, let me know. I can only guess that the market is saying, sounds like a good deal. Keep the money in your pocket. You're not getting getting it back, I guess, out of this NBA and WNBA rights. So, but there you go. That's what's moving it, anyways.
Yeah, very strange. I don't know how well this is going to trade, so I'm not going to be adding it to my list. I mean, it is in play, but I'm just not sure how this is going to go. You know what? Maybe a good secondary today. Again, they normally don't trade very well. Secondary, let's see how this thing plays out. Next on the list, we've seen plenty of times, is INFY, and this is up 4.7, 257,000. Infosys. Most of the time, these guys don't trade very well. I don't see anything different today besides just this gap up. But man, what a messy pre-market activity. And if you look at the daily again, they just don't move all that much. So anything interesting, Peter, on this INFY?
Yeah, this is one of the world's largest IT outsourcers. I'm very familiar with them, but they don't trade well. They're dual traded, maybe even traded on 3 different markets. I'm not positive at this point. Yeah, I mean, they had earnings. That's the only time we see them on our list, is when they had earnings, and it's because they're reacting to price action in one of the other markets. They had a good quarter, beat their numbers. I'm actually surprised they're continuing to beat their targets. I thought outsourcing was largely done, but apparently not. They're still finding some business out there, and people are still looking for cheap sources of labor, and Infosys is always happy to provide them. So, yeah, but not a good trader.
Yeah, I don't like it. Let's move on down to SMR. SMR this morning, we are pretty much just ugly, right? Not a whole lot of volume, 341,000, up 3.4. This is, oh yeah, I remember the name now, Nuke Scale.
New scale
Always on our
power.
list. Yeah, I don't like the way these energy, power, whatever companies trade. So I'm going to skip it. Peter, anything on this?
No, not really. This is just continuing to bounce around. There's not really a lot of news on it. I mean, they keep talking AI, saying all the right words, so they're gonna bounce.
Yeah, we'll leave it alone. And then now let's get to tech, guys. NVIDIA, TSM, Intel, AMD. I mean, you name it, is on here this morning. So we'll start with the giant of all of these is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA right now up 2.8, 9.6 million shares traded. And this is coming off a couple of really heavy red days, including yesterday gapping down. And look at the sell-off. So a little bit of a bounce
Yeah.
back here. You guys saw the headline here on YouTube and then anywhere, everywhere else, right? It's some of the comments being made by the president, Peter, affecting semis. Nvidia taking a hit on that.
Yeah, well, I think NVIDIA is just showing its leadership qualities here this morning. It led the way up, it's leading the way down, and it's probably just leading on a little bit of the rebound. People aren't really bearish on NVIDIA, right? It's still at the forefront of the AI curve. It's still delivering critical chips, and business still looks good. However, there's concern with the president's comments about the former president's comments and on Trump suggesting that he would do nothing to defend Taiwan if attacked, which I'm sure China likes to hear. But that it just creates uncertainty. It doesn't mean anything's going to happen, and it doesn't mean that would be the actual action if it occurred, right? But it just creates uncertainty in the market, and I think yesterday we were reacting to that. Today it's like a second day play, right? We're just sort of bouncing back. You notice Taiwan Semiconductor is on our gap up list, NVIDIA, AMD, all those that were gapping down yesterday are just getting a little bit of a rebound. Now, once we head to the market open and the deep pocketed money, right, the big money starts to weigh in, will we hold these gains? Will we move back down? I really just don't know. As is being said in our chat room by JW there, yeah, might be a dead cat type bounce, right? Which means you can't trust it, and it's going to come right back down. It's really tough to tell, right? This is sort of unprecedented times. It's not news, right? I mean, this is all happening on speculation and rumor. So I just would advise you, be cautious. Wait for the signals. Let the stock show you what it's going to do, and then take action if you've got a strategy to play that. Don't anticipate and guess, because you might be right and make money, or you might lose and lose heavy, and I don't want that for anyone. So well, Carlos, we're all going to have to wait and see, but there's no question this sector's in play.
Yeah. NVIDIA will be on top of the list for me, and obviously AMD here on a secondary. I'm not going to slam my entire list with tech just yet, but I will put more of these up if that is what's in play today. And obviously, we know that's heavily in play this morning. Out of those, you can look at TSM, right? You can pick your favorite. Why is this thing not typing? Okay. So TSM you have there. You also have AMD, Intel as well. AMD, wow, nice drop. It's a $10 drop yesterday. I haven't looked at this daily yet. So yeah, good volume today, 2.7. Those are my two favorites for today, AMD and NVIDIA so far. Heading on to our gap up list, I do see SoundHound on here, one of Peter's favorite tickers. Let's see what we got going on. SoundHound, 3.1 and 475,000 shares.
So I've got a question for I think it's for all of my American friends out there. This is described as a popular family sports restaurant. It's called Beef O'Brady's. Never heard of it. Never. Anybody heard of Beef O'Brady's?
No,
Carlos?
I'm sure somebody's going to say something here. No, I don't think that's in the Northeast. All right, we got some yes. So Cody, where's this from? Scott, where's this? Okay, it's in Texas. Okay.
So this is Texas.
Southeast.
Oh, Katie's band played there. Oh, they're big in Florida. All right, so maybe it is a southern thing. All right, well, Arkansas? I'm asking because apparently the SoundHound, and they've got an AI voice assistant, voice assistant anyways, that is going to be used so you can order your meals at Beef O'Brady's. You can place phone orders and just talk to their AI voice assistant. First off, who puts in phone orders? I mean, great that we can talk to a robot, but seems like it's a step back to make a step forward. I don't know. Anyways, all right, that's the news. That's why it's moving, because it's a good deal for SoundHound. They get to sell it whether it gets used or not, right? So Beef O'Brady's. Oh, there, look at that. There you go. There's a $7.99 Taco Tuesdays. What's the special today on Thursday?
Here,
Thursdays, Philly Thursdays. I see it right down there underneath the big picture.
Oh
on the
yeah,
right.
Philly
Philly
Thursdays. There it is.
Thursdays.
Wing Wednesdays. Yeah, yeah. Philly
All
Thursdays.
right.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's Philly Thursdays at Beef
Fish
O'Brady's
and
if you're
Chips
going.
Friday.
This has been an
Right.
unpaid advertisement. But if anybody out there from marketing at Beef O'Brady's wants to sponsor us, Carlos and I would be happy to be flown out to one of your restaurants. We do a live broadcast with free food from there. How was that for
All right. Let's see what is
shameless?
the closest location to my area. I will pick this one over here, and we don't have
All
any
right.
nearby.
But
All right.
anyway, Soundhound's moving because they got this deal with Beef O'Brady's. Where are you having to go? Oh, you just have to go to Connecticut? Is that where the
No,
close? No
I'm just
results
assuming.
found
I,
within
I don't think
25
this is
miles.
working. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Try a
not driving
wider
more than
area.
25 miles for this place.
All
Yeah, I'm
right.
not. Okay, let's do 50.
It would be
Nope.
it'd be a little bit of a flight, so that better be some good Philly cheesesteaks to make that. But
Not in my town. All right, so there it is. So not even 100 miles away we have anything. Interesting. Okay, I'm not sure how much this is going to drive thing, but at least they have something. So if you want to see how that works out, you can watch this one. I'm not too interested in it, so I'll skip on that. Another one that's usually pretty much garbage is IREN. So it's up this morning 2.6, 224,000. I feel like I see this stock almost every single morning, and I just don't like it. So Peter, anything on this one?
Iran,
IREN?
no. Like I mean, we've seen the continued movement on the. I was still looking for a Beef O'Brady's location. Sorry, continued movement with Bitcoin. Bitcoin prices are hovering around 65,000 now, so we're back up into what I would consider a respectable range. And this is an area that we've seen a lot of support for pretty much all of this year. So I think we're going to settle into a nice spot here for a little while, and Iran and all of the other Bitcoin miners are probably just going to hang around. I'm not sure why this one particularly is moving today. It's really not. It doesn't have any news that I can see. I mean, they do more than just Bitcoin mining, but I think that's why they're moving here. So
Yeah. Not a fan. And then I saw Intel. Intel keeps popping in and out of this list. It's part of our tech companies as well. Let's take a look at it right now. Intel has been trading much better in the last couple of days than it normally does. Today, it is up 2%, 948,000. So if you like this one's another one that keeps coming on and off our list there. You can keep an eye on. All right, let's get to our gap down here. AGEN leading the way this morning, down 60%, man. This is pretty nice. 60%, 1 million shares traded. So somebody here definitely getting fired, Peter. What's taking place with this?
yeah, well, look, first, if I tell you it's a biotech, agenus, agenus. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that. Anyways, you could probably guess what the news is then, right? They had a drug that didn't work out as they're expected, and as expected, they've got a colorectal cancer drug. It's in phase 2 trials that, of course, they say it's meeting the outcomes and it's doing well. That was the release from the company. Clearly, the market's not buying the story. So they were expected accelerated approval on a different therapy, which the FDA has not made comment on. So there's a little concern over that. And meeting the endpoint objectives is usually not good enough, right? You need to exceed them. So to say they're meeting them sort of sends us few concerns through the market. So I don't think this is going to trade well. Most of these don't trade well after the opening bell. The volume that we've got on this morning, how many shares have traded here on this bad boy?
1 million so far.
A million shares.
Yeah.
So it's got decent volume, but you know what? I'm too excited about semis to pay attention to AGEN this morning.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Semis are going to be fun today. And then everything surrounding all these tech companies like Apple, right? So that's another one that I'll be keeping an eye on. Apple right now did take a hit yesterday, trying to bounce back. So I'll be putting that on my list as well. I'm going to put it on a secondary for now, and we can always move it up in a second. Continuing with our gap down is our good buddy, which we had a many laughs over, BYND. So BYND down 14% right now, 263,000 shares traded. But man, it looks ugly. I expected something better. It does not look pretty. So I might not have this on my list. What's going on with these burgers? Earnings last night? They're not selling.
No.
What's happening?
Beyond the meat. There's no
Yes.
the. I say it just because it gets Andrew, very frustrated. Anyways, it's just Beyond Meat. The company is called Beyond Meat. For whatever reason, we started putting a "the" in there, and it started just getting everybody all anxious. And when
It was
it's
Norm's
like
fault. Norm started
it's
this
like
back in.
yeah, what happens when you react to the bully, right? It just amuses us more. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Beyond Meat. So they've got a little over $1 billion of corporate bond debt that are held by a number of bond holders, I guess. And these convertible notes are of concern. There's a concern that Beyond Meat is not going to be able to honor them, and they're asking to restructure it. So the restructuring is getting people a little nervous who are holding this $1.1 billion of debt. And they've actually brought in an outside law firm. Some of the bigger holders have brought in an outside law firm, Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld. Whew, that's a mouthful. But that's like a law firm name. Everybody wanted their name on the marquee, eh? Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld. They will kick your ass if you decide to go up against them. Anyways, they are assisting on the restructure, which really means they are going to be digging through Beyond Meat shorts and forcing them to do things they probably don't want to in this restructure. So never good when your bondholders decide to take action and force a law firm upon you to restructure debt. So that's really where Beyond is right now and why it's gapping down. Again, interesting, probably not tradable.
Yeah, I don't like it, and don't like the way it looks either. So gonna skip on that one and head down to another one, which we thought this was gonna trade better, but I really have not looked at it at all. Last
So
all of
disappointing.
July has been horrible, and part of June, right? So it hit 68 and has been downhill from them. So looks like people are not buying over at Chipotle this morning, or the last couple of months, really. So what's happening, Peter? We're down 3.3. What's taking place?
I don't know what's happening, but I'm getting hungry. We started
Oh, this
talking
food
beef
talk?
O'Brady's, and then Beyond Meat. Now it's Chipotle.
Yeah.
It's just why is it all food this morning? I need some breakfast. Anyway, Chipotle. I didn't really see any news on it. I'm not sure why it's gapping. Maybe it's sympathy to something I was going to talk about because Domino's Pizza had earnings, even more food. But I don't really see why Chipotle is moving down. I mean, they really had a disappointing showing ever since they split their stock. And if you don't, by looking at the chart, if you look at the price action, hard to tell when the stock split. Look at the volume. You can tell the day that the stock split, right? Because it was a 50-for-1 reverse split. You just have to look at the volume. You can tell the day, right? No surprise there. 26th of June. Look when the volume shot up and it stayed high just because there's 50 times as many shares out there, right? But it really hasn't been a good trader. I was sort of hoping that would bring volume in and we could trade this at least for, a few months. But oh no, not the Twinkie shot. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring a
I'm
Twinkie
not that
shot 'cause
hungry.
you're hungry. You're
I
hungry.
will
Are you
never
this
be that
hungry?
hungry again in my life.
Look at that. Peter talking
No.
to Peter.
Oh no! Don't do
Oh,
it!
boy.
Don't do it, buddy! Oh no! I did it!
man.
Oh,
That is
oh! I actually look like I'm
you
enjoying
did
it
do
in
it.
the first.
I don't
Wait
know.
for
There you
it.
start. See right
Here
there,
we
you start
go.
kind of
Yeah, wait
questioning
for it.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Right there, you kind of
you
start
cut
questioning
just
life a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that's just like a short 20-second clip. But we
That
got the
was
full video too. We'll get it.
yeah, that was a surprise. I didn't know we had that video keyed up out there.
We
All
have
right, thank
we have
you for that,
everything,
Brent.
Peter.
That was amusing.
Yes. We have
I
everything, Peter. Nothing escapes. Yeah.
Zen, my mother-in-law for like 30 years now has been making fun of me because she would serve me food and I always smelled my food first. And she's like, why don't smell it, just eat it. Like I need to smell it, see what it smells like first. Get a little smell.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I don't smell very well. I actually have a bad bad scent. I just can't.
So you got to really get in there to just kind of get okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Anyways, so I got to get things up close, man. My nose is large, but it doesn't work very effectively. So, in any event, all right. Enough about that. Enough about me.
Cool, man.
Let's talk about you.
No, let's talk about you, the market. So that's our gap up and down list. I mean, Peter, anything else that's maybe not showing here? I mean, we have it in video, we have it in the it's tech heavy. What do we kind of end up with CMG? Do we like this one? I like the movement. I just don't know how well it's going to track to the market open. Um,
No, yeah, I don't. I've lost faith. I've lost faith. I have to admit in CMG that
oh
it's going to
yeah,
do something
yeah,
fun. It's just too bad because I'm hoping it. I was hoping for so long that it would, but it has not.
yeah. I feel today could be the day, man. I don't know. I'm gonna add it on here. We'll put as a secondary. Let's see, let's see. But you're right. It has been so bad. Let's see if today they can prove us wrong. I would love to see some action out of it. Pre-market right now continues to drop again, down 3.4. Volume keeps coming in. Today's the day. Let's see if we can make it happen. All right, Peter. So that covers our gap up and down. Anything on your end that we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, a couple things I wanted to mention that haven't made the list. United Airlines, UAL. We'll start there because they had earnings after the close yesterday. Not doing a lot this morning, not a lot of volume, but they did beat their numbers. Interesting sort of story out of UAL. They beat their numbers. They said volume's been good, profits have been good, everything is good. The only warning that they gave was a little bit about capacity. They think that forward-looking demand is going to drop. They said that their, sort of butts and seats, their how full their planes were has dropped from 86% to 84%, and they're sort of worried that there's just not enough demand going forward to continue to maintain routes at that level, which may strike for profits across the industry. Not the first time we've heard this. There have been warnings from other airlines, but UAL was sort of mentioning as part of their earnings. They haven't called off their forecast, though. So they said that things are still going well for it right now, and UAL is gapping up, I think, a little bit. At least it was earlier this morning. We'll see what happens once the market opens. The other one we talked about, I mentioned Domino's Pizza, DPZ for my American friends. Had a mixed picture. They missed on revenue, but beat their bottom line earnings. So they brought in the profits. This typically doesn't trade very well, but it just pops up, once a quarter. So I'll mention Domino's. And Nokia was the only other earners. NOK, dual traded stock. Typically does not trade well in our market, but you can sometimes get an indication of what some of the other like we haven't heard from all of the carriers in North America. I find that Nokia can sometimes sort of give us an indication where they're going, but they had a mixed picture, missed on revenue, also beat on earnings, and are at least they were. No, they're just gapping down. They're slightly red here so far this morning. So that's all I had. We've already talked about the main ones that aren't on the gappers list, but that we're going to watch, right? AMD and NVIDIA for sure. We got to keep an eye on. Apple has not been actually trading all that well, despite being at all-time highs, even in this market. I mean, it's still hanging out in that all-time high territory, although it's down a couple of bucks off the 235 high that it had set a few days ago. But still worth just keeping an eye on. And then, of course, Tesla. Almost forgot about Tesla yesterday
Yes.
with
Oh
all the
yeah. How
excitement that
can
was
we?
happening on the drop on the semiconductors, but it was still out there churning away. We're still sitting at 1.7 million shares traded this morning. I mean, it is it's getting volume, and it's been giving us trade opportunities pretty much every day if you're willing to watch it. So I still think it deserves a spot on the list. Carlos, you mentioned some of the other ones. Amazon Prime Days had happened, and like I was sort of warning, Amazon didn't do a lot of fun stuff. It sort of got caught up, though, in, of course, all of the market downturn from yesterday. We saw a pretty good drop on Amazon yesterday and a little bit of a recovery so far this morning. Let's see if it can hold that. So that's what I got. That's what I'm watching.
Yep. All right, friends, let's go to you guys over in our chat room first, and then also on YouTube. Start throwing those stickers out so we can take a look at what you guys are watching this morning. We'll start here in our chat. I'm gonna scroll up. CMG, we did look at, so that's good. Meta, I see a lot of people throwing out Meta in our chat room and also over on YouTube. So let's take a look at Meta this morning. Meta right now, it is up 2%. This is very nice. And again, pre-market action is not gonna look like it's not gonna look like usually like an AMD NVIDIA type pre-market action, but you can still get a good trading day out of this. So a big drop over the last couple of days, as we have seen in a lot of tech companies. I like Meta. I'm going to put it on here today. I'm not sure if it's going to stay on there. Let's see what else we have. But Meta's another one. And just like any of these magnificent 7 stocks that we have, you could look at your favorites today, right? So I have NVIDIA, AMD, and Meta. A little bit tech heavy. If I find something else, my two go-to on tech are going to be AMD and NVIDIA. So if I find something better, I'll move
Yeah.
these out of the way. I want to watch at least 4 or 5 today, if I can,
As
of those stocks.
as Tom just pointed out in our chat room, this is why having a chat room is so great, because you get members who notice things that we don't. AMD dropped far enough
Mm-hmm.
yesterday that it's on short sale restriction this morning. That's very rare.
Oh,
You don't see
the
that very
$10
often. So
drop.
it
Yeah.
is shortable. So you can short it, but you have to short it on an uptick. So it's just it's not it's not shortable. It's just unrestricted shorts. Say
Yep.
again.
Yep.
So when it's on short sale restriction, it means you can't short it as it's actively going down. You need an uptick. It only has to be 1 penny, but the stock price has to move up by a penny so that you can short it.
Yep.
That's how it works.
And on
So if you
that
enter
trader
a
pro, you
short
can see that
order,
here. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it might just sit there till the stock moves up by 1 penny.
Yep. So you got to sit on the ask. You can't hit the bid to get in
Correct.
immediately. But yeah, you still could short it. Yeah, we haven't seen AMD do that in quite some time. It just on the open, they dropped 169 all the way down to 150. That's a $10 plus drop there, just at the market open, and they dropped even further from 180. So, yeah, more than hitting the requirement there of SSR. All right, so AMD is on deck. I do like that one this morning. And what else I saw here, guys? JP Morgan, a couple of you guys throwing out JP Morgan and Microsoft. So JP Morgan from Lawrence over on our YouTube chat. We'll take a look here. Very quiet right now. I think the banks just, I don't know, that there's tough to trade. We're getting better action just because of earnings, banking season, and all that stuff, right? So not banking season, but banking reporting. You see that there. As far as watching it, I'm not sure. I'm not sure today. So you're not getting much in the pre-market action, and you normally do not. So you got to kind of, if you have the space, put it on there and see how it trades today. So I'm gonna skip it for now, or maybe just a secondary for the most part. And I gotta clean up that secondary. This is way too long. And we'll come back to that one. Let's see. TSM is good. I'm not again. I got AMD and Nvidia already. Verizon. Why are people watching Verizon? VZ. This is pretty much flat. Another stock that's a nicey stock. Tons of volume, but you're not going to get much into the market open on this one. So I'll wait for this to hit the scanners or something of that nature for now. Over on our YouTube chat, let's continue there. AVGO. Did we look at this? AVGO.
We did not.
AVGO this morning. It is up 1.7, 513,000 shares traded. Broadcom, not sure why they're moving today with this volume. Not an easy stock to day trade, but Peter, any news on this one? Could this be with the Warner Brothers stuff or no? Anything
I don't
happening?
think they're involved in that. Comcast was,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
CMC. What is it? CSC? Yeah, CMCSA, something like that. Anyways, it's got a 5-letter
Mm-hmm.
ticker. But
Yeah.
Broadcom, as far as I know, is not involved. I don't know why it's moving, to be honest. I'm not really seeing
Okay.
any news on it. So
Yeah, it could just be an overall market move, right? Again, this one also dropped yesterday quite a bit, so just kind of getting a little bit of a bounce here. You mentioned earlier we got to see if this bounce is real or are we just doing a dead cat bounce here, and things are going to continue to drop further. So be patient with the process and change your, your position quickly. Don't be biased. If you're biased on a direction, that's when you get hurt the most. So be very, very careful. If your plan is not in play no more, just get out of the trade. Here's Microsoft. Microsoft was a little bit choppier yesterday. Looks like right now not showing much. I think it's just going to wait to see what the overall market direction is. But yeah, another one that you can watch as well next to Apple and all these others magnificent 7 stocks that we've been talking about. Intel we did look at already. I did not add it on my list because I got so many tech companies right that I like. I prefer a little more. So if you prefer Intel, you can have it to your list as well. And you put Intel/VFC. Why VFC? What this, I don't see much going on here on this one, so not sure what the connection is. Peter, you had something?
no,
No, okay. I thought you wanted to say something.
no.
J&J, yeah, thought I heard something. J&J this morning, big day yesterday on it. It looks like went from 152, 157, just kind of hanging out here. Could be a secondary play. I don't like the way they trade as far as volume wise, right? So they could be tough for a market open. But yeah, for the most part, it's big move yesterday. We got to wait to see how that is going to to hang out. I'll look at another one from you, Sizzle. We'll look at PFE. The banks have kind of looked at it already. Not much happening there. PFE also very quiet this morning. So again, it looks like only tech is the only one that's really pushing the envelope on the pre-market right now. Look at Meta pushing higher here, man. This thing is rocking today in the pre-market. This is not what a Meta pre-market normally looks like. So this is looking really nice so far this morning. All right, last but not least, we'll look at Mara, and then we'll head over to our community events and announcements, see what's happening today. Mara this morning, pretty much flat. It's up about 1%, 510,000. Not giving us much this morning, but I would like to watch some Bitcoin at least on my secondary list. So they had a couple of really good days where they got going like mid-morning. I didn't watch it yesterday, but the day before, if you look at the day before, look at the move they had here. So really, really nice takeoff there. Let's see if any of that can continue depending how Bitcoin wants to move today. So, all right, well, I'll fine tune my secondary list in just a second. But before we do that, let's head over to our community events announcement. Show what's coming up for this beautiful Thursday as we get into the end of this week. Peter, you're on mute.
I'm on mute, talking to myself.
Now
All right, Thursdays are mentorship, and we've got 4 mentorship sessions for you today, starting at 11 a.m. with John, who's going to talk to you about anything that you want. Jump in there. It's always a good session, really focused, especially if you're a new trader or you're very experienced or you want to understand how his high of day works and want to join in the fun. Join him in the webinar room for that session at 11 o'clock. Then at 2, we move to our our options focused team with Jared and Megan, the dynamic duo, who are going to be talking about options at 2 p.m. Lenny then takes over at 4, back on equities, and then Thor, as always, closes out the day with his Thursday mentorship session. Always a great one, 8 p.m. in the room, high energy. You know Thor, he's high octane every day, and he's going to bring it tonight like he always does. So. And apparently we've got to go visit Thor if we want to get to a beef O'Brady's. Just saying there, Carlos. I was taking a look. The only place I could find any within 100 miles was Jacksonville. As soon as I get to Jacksonville, Florida, there are 12 within a 100-mile radius. So
wow,
looks like it's
okay.
Looks like it's big down there, but there was nothing all the way down through the Carolinas, Georgia. Oh, you got to get all the way down to Florida. So and then it looks like you find them. Oh my God, sorry, I just updated my map. There is now 50 Beef O'Brady locations within 100 miles of Jacksonville. So there you go. It's apparently it's all over the place down there. So maybe we'll go visit and he can take us out for a good meal where you can order with the AI tool. Again, we're still waiting for anyone from marketing to reach out to us, but Peter at bearabletraders.com. Okay. All right. So hopefully you'll join our mentorship sessions and you have a lot of fun at those and get educated. So it's they're good sessions. If you want information on the markets, tradingterminal.com. It's a place we advise you to go. It's got all the information there that you need. We use it for the scanners, right, that we use to get the gappers in the morning, but it does a lot more than that. It can give you information on the markets all day. As you can see, you can get the news integrated with it, some stocks, charts. You could just use it just for the straight scanners. Out of the box, we've got over a dozen that are just right there ready to use. Turbo break up and down, high of day breaks, all sorts of different scanners. Or you can make your own. So it's a great tool. Plus everything else you can do in Trading Terminal. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. All right, let's set some levels. We're doing a little better than I did yesterday. So since I was running us behind. So Carlos, we'll let you set some levels and then I'll tell you what our moderators are watching and we'll go from there.
All right, you got it, Peter. Let's do this. And right now, just NVIDIA, AMD, and Meta for me. Let's run quickly through this secondary list. There's Merit there trying to get going now, up 1%. Apple looks good as well. You can have that on your list. I have AMD twice. Let's remove AMD from here. Okay. The WBD. No, I don't like that. CMG. I think CMG today could be the day. I'm going to ask CMG here. Again, normally I wouldn't, Peter, but I don't know. Today I'm feeling lucky today. Let's see what happens here. I really like
feeling lucky, punk?
yeah.
Okay.
I like how they're dropping here. Let's see if that can continue. If they get the market open, they can trade very well. Man, look at the drop over the last couple of days. It's just been insane. So let's see. I'll look at it closer today just because I have the space. But for the most part, that's going to be my list. We'll start with NVIDIA here, guys. The favorite this morning, obviously, tech is in play. Semis are heavily in play, to be specific. 122.80 is the high of the pre-market. The low hanging out at 119.37. So we'll slam one there. And as we look at the bigger picture on the daily, you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days here, up here, which is where the price action is hanging out now. Also seeing some resistance there as well. So you can see that on there. And then towards the bottom, you do have low of the pre-market here, previous day close, and you have the low from yesterday. So plenty of levels on NVIDIA. I don't see how you can add more in between these, right? I think you'll just be overloading your charts. So that looks pretty good to me. Looking forward to that one. Here's AMD, big drop just at the market open, over $10. I mean, that is aggressive for AMD there. So it is on SSR today, which we haven't seen AMD on SSR since I can remember. But today with that big drop, we're getting that there. High of the pre-market, 164.09 is the high of the pre-market. The low is hanging out at 161.10 this morning. And then once you go below that, guys, look at the daily. This is a good area of heavy support that we've seen over and over again. A few times, right? This stretch here, we kind of dip below it a little bit. But notice how many times we managed to get above again, close above, or just kind of maintain this previous day close line. So there's no surprise. That is where we found some support yesterday, right? So right on that line, bouncing off from that. Can we turn things around, or are we going to be retesting that level again? So previous day close, as we call it here, I think Jerry came up with this king of all levels. It's a really important level because everybody has it. There's no one that is not that is taking out their previous day close level from their charts, right? Everybody's using that. So towards the bottom,
True
below
that.
the previous day close, just in case we have this type of day, 156.89 and 153.62. In case we do decide to drop any further and go into the red here. Meta pushing higher and higher. Now 475 is where we're slamming the pre-market high this morning. As you guys are slamming that thumbs up over on YouTube, I'm going to go quickly and check how our friends on YouTube are doing and how many likes we have here. I don't even have up the number of likes, but we need more than what we have. I know that because usually we don't have that many around this time. So if you can help us there, if you could trip over the button, if you could just take the time to do that, really appreciate it. We guarantee you'll feel warm and fuzzy inside, and you will not be charged. There's not a lot of things that can do that. You will feel warm and fuzzy and not get charged. So completely free for you. Here's Meta, guys. 475 is the high. The low of the pre-market is right here, 464.50. So we'll put a level there, and then you're surrounded towards the top at least by the highs and lows of the last two trading days, and then previous day close towards the bottom. So a couple of really big red days for Meta. Meta was hanging out at 540 here, and you can see here, and a lot of the tech companies and semis look like this, right? Just a little bit up and then a lot down, a little bit up and a lot down. Today we have a lot up, actually, trying to cover yesterday's short, at least from the market open. Let's see how it goes. It's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a very interesting market open that we're getting into. The one that I'm not too sure of, but I'm going to be watching it closely just to see if today could be the day where they prove me and Peter wrong. They've been horrible as far as day trading, but I like this drop. 3.1 this morning, 528,000 shares traded. Low of the pre-market, 53.33. The highest is slamming slightly above the previous day close, so we'll go on there, 550, 55.65. And as we head to the left here, we have been here before, so right around February, March timeframe, we're going to pick off some levels. 54.43 is a good one. And then towards the bottom, we do have 52.36. So there it is. All right. So that is my list, friends. NVIDIA, AMD, Meta, and CMEC, heavy on tech because that is just looking good right now. And then we got a couple. Meta starting to get really active here as far as pushing higher. New pre-market higher Meta. Meta could be interesting, guys. I might end up moving that up a little bit later as we go forward here. So, all right, excellent. Peter, what else do we have? Anything else that we might have missed?
I don't think from stocks we've missed anything. It's
Okay.
like you said, right? There's going to be a lot of focus here, I think, on the semis today, and we're going to have to watch and see what this market does. It's in a little bit of an uncertain space, so it could go either way. Again, don't presuppose Make sure you're reacting to the signals the charts are telling you, right? Don't start guessing. That's usually how you get into trouble. You might get lucky once or twice, but when it goes wrong, that's usually when you lose a lot more than you ever thought you would. So I don't want anyone being in that position.
Absolutely.
Why don't we take a look at what our moderators are starting to post? They're getting their lists in right now, and we're seeing what they're going to be watching today. And I'm going to start on this list. We can go back up to the top here. Take a look what Eamon says he doesn't actually like anything today. Now, Eamon's got a very different trading style than the rest of us, so not a surprise here. He's going to be watching the scanners, wait and see what's moving. He can often get some very good trace off of his reversals, parabolic reversals, or trend continuations, but right now he's not seeing anything that he sets up that he's loving a lot. Thor's come in with his list. Thor's got Tesla, Amazon, Apple, NVIDIA, and of course his normal look at some of those futures. I see John. Look at this. We got John on the list here with NVIDIA, AMD, and Meta. Brian just came in with his list looking at Tesla, NVIDIA, Meta, and Apple. So a bunch of familiar names on that. We've got Lenny, who's going to be watching United Airlines, the market overall, the SPY charts, and NVIDIA. Megan, look at that. Echoing it, looking at the same thing, United Airlines, SPY, and NVIDIA. Mike's sort of on the road this morning, but he's going to keep an eye on a couple of these semis with Intel and MU. We haven't talked about Micron. He was trading Micron yesterday. I have to admit, he was trading it. I didn't like it even watching it, but hey, if he was able to do it profitably, so I can't tell him no. My list is in, and I've got AMD, NVIDIA, and UAL, United Airlines, at the top of the list. As a secondary, I'll be watching TSM. I'm going to keep an eye here on WBD, on Warner Brothers, just because I'm confused about it, and I want to see what's happening, and Amazon. Susan, did I mention Susan? I can't remember. Susan's got her list with NVIDIA and Tesla on here. Secondary list, she's watching AMD, TSM, Intel, and Chipotle. I'm getting used to this moderator list we got up here. I didn't know the order, so sorry, guys. I'm out of sync. There are a couple of IPOs today, potentially. ARDT and TWFG might be opening today. I sound like I was just listing random letters, but those are two different tickers, ARDT and TWFG. I've got them highlighted. If they open before I leave for the morning, I'll be sure to let all our members in the room know. Otherwise, keep an eye on those, and they may open today. TWFG seems to be the one that's most likely to open. So there you go. That's what we got. We should have hopefully a good day. Again, take it slow, right? Don't feel like you got to rush in. I don't care what happened yesterday, win, lose, or weren't even watching the markets yesterday. Take it easy. Wait for your setups. If you're like Eamon and you don't see anything you like, right? It may be a day where you just sit and watch. There's nothing wrong with that. Better to have a day where you're just watching and learning than a day where you lose any money. Right. So patience is always the key, as Steve says, and he's absolutely correct. So, just be smart, be patient, and we'll see you back here for the long run. Right. You can keep trading.
Yeah, absolutely. We forgot to mention Tesla. I think we mentioned it in passing, but I do like it. Heath mentioned it here in our YouTube chat. I am going to add it to my list. I actually do like Tesla. It's got good volume, 1.9 million shares traded, up almost 1%. Getting a little bit weak here. It's just bouncing off the highs of the pre-market. So yeah, I do like Tesla. I'll be watching that one. Again, we mentioned it, but I might have forgot to add it to my list here. I do like it there. All right, Brian, Andrew, up next, trading live with you guys over here. So stay tuned for that. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so. Subscribe. We're on every morning. The market is open at 8:30 a.m. Taking you through the market open to about 10:30 a.m. So definitely hang out with us, and we can get you prepared and into the market open. So other than that, I think we're all set. Just going to wait for Brian to come on in and Andrew to get ready. Then we'll switch over to them. We'll give them a minute to do that. As they're doing that, let's take a quick look at the overall SPY and what's happening here. Right now, we are slightly up, so not much movement at the moment, given yesterday's action. If we look at the Qs here, that one's also up nicely. Almost everything is up. How about IWM? I saw they were up over the last couple of days. It's just been crushing it. So IWM taking a bit of a fall here. So it's kind of getting a little bit of a rest after what seems to be an awesome couple of days here. Just insane. the move that we've seen there. So taking a little bit of a breather as it's dropping somewhat. So excellent. We are good to go. Carlos, can you explain
Hey, good
what
morning,
makes you
everybody.
like or
I don't know what happened to
dislike
Carlos there.
a
Just
ticker?
seemed to.
I'm here.
Oh,
What happened to
he's
Carlos?
here.
Oh,
Didn't even
I'm
fade.
here. Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know,
I still
he
got
can't
you,
hear us.
Carlos.
He can't hear us. So
You can't hear
yeah,
us,
he
eh?
can't hear us.
All right.
Yeah.
We can hear him.
Yep. So
All right.
we'll tune into him in just a second here. What makes me dislike and like a stock? It's a lot of things, man. This is where you have some flexibility as a retail trader, right? For example, like Peter might prefer AMD over Nvidia sometimes, just because he watches AMD all the time and he knows the DNA of that stock. Like he knows how it trades. He knows when he's trading well, when he's trading bad, so he can always watch it and make really good decisions. I make good decisions on Nvidia, so I might watch Nvidia just because of that. And they both might be great stocks today, but I might pick Nvidia over it just because of my experience with Nvidia and the way I'm able to read the stock. So there's a lot of things that are not really tech indicators, I want to say, that can make you dislike or like a stock, right? Maybe if you had good history on it in the past. For example, POTR, I have a bad history with that stock. I just can't trade it well, Peter. It's just one of those stocks. Every time I touch it, I seem to pick the worst days that doesn't you don't get the continuation. It ends up being choppy,
Yeah.
right? Other people, they love that stock, right? So
Yeah.
that's one great example right there.
It
You
just
know,
it
so
just shows you how psychological this game is, right? I mean, in theory, all stocks should
yeah,
be equal, but I've got the same thing. I think everybody, if you've traded for any period of time, you've got stocks that you feel you don't trade well, and it means you're probably then, it's like you'd be hesitating on the entry. You wouldn't be seeing it with impartial eyes, right? Which would lead you to then trade it poorly if you continue to try. So yeah, it's this is a game of mastering yourself, mastering your mind. I
yeah.
wish it was easier, but it is what it is. It's endlessly interesting, though.
Yeah, and a lot of also has to do with your strategy, right? So I know like my go-to
Yep,
strategy is
that's
that
true too.
5 minute ORB. There's some stocks that are great. Peter, you've seen this. They're very choppy in the market open, and they're great later in the day for a mountain pass or 10-1. But the market open on them sucks. So I know that now from watching them so long. I might skip on a stock that has a horrible market open towards one that has a better market open. So. All
Yeah.
right, I'm getting signals. Brian is ready to go. So we'll switch over to him and friends. And today we have later on, we're going to have John. So John coming on later on. Don't miss that. We'll do it later after the live open with Brian and Andrew. So stay tuned for that. John has some pretty cool stuff for us to go over. So take care, guys. We'll see you guys in chat, and we'll see you in a little bit later.
Take care. Trade smart, everyone.
Oh, nice, Cody. Good to know. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully, you'll get a lot of valuable information out of my options book. My book on options. It's actually just called How to Trade Options. It's available on Amazon if you want to learn how to trade options and learn some of the strategies that I use and why I trade options, etc. So it's available. Not really. I don't. Let's just take a boo at Meta. There's definitely. Oh, I should. Let me share my screen. Meta does have some orders here on the level 2. There are some orders up in 475 and 476. So I suspect probably, I guess we're going to get a bit of a pullback and then maybe a bounce. It's possible. So some of the other things look like here, Tesla. There's a big order at 258. We haven't really got many orders in yet. 255. Nvidia's got a fair amount of orders stacked to the upside. Apple. Don't think Apple. Need to wait for the options market to open here. AMD. It's interesting. It might pop at the open as well. Some big orders: 165, 167. AMD is actually looking fairly bullish. Yeah, Mara's certainly strong today. Bit of an inside day yesterday. Didn't really sell off too hard. Just kind of through an indecision candle. TSM. I think TSM has earnings tonight, don't they? TSM, I know Netflix has earnings. Amazon has a bullish book. Let's take a look back at this again. There's CVD is green. I guess what does Meta look like? CVD very green. Yeah, Meta is looking like it's gonna go higher here. Oh, did it? And they through their earnings this morning? Okay. Yeah, I had them after the close, but I guess they already had their earnings this morning. What have we got here? We have just over 2 minutes to the open. So everything I'm seeing, I'm liking. Don't like what Apple's doing. I'm liking AMD. We'll see what happens here. Might have to wait a minute or a couple minutes or 5 minutes and just see what the market brings us this morning. And I can see that Apple's kind of dropping here. Nvidia looks strong. Nvidia and AMD look strong. I guess probably sympathy with TSM. TSM's dropping a bit actually right now. Netflix is up quite a bit, but very little volume so far. Meta's looking quite interesting too. It's high of pre-market here. But, yeah, definitely going to keep an eye on Meta. Just put that one front and center. And we've got 15 seconds to the open, so people are ready to rock and roll here. All right, ding, ding, ding. Here we go. AMD pulling back a bit. Meta's pulling back a bit. All right, Tesla's going. I had some Tesla calls too. That worked out. So just selling some of those. Got out of my Apple. Profitable, but Apple hasn't been, it wasn't great. That was kind of, it was kind of crappy what Apple did there. Too bad I didn't pick Meta. AMD's struggling here. Kind of thought AMD looked a little better at the open than it actually is trading now. Looked a little better in the pre-market. Now it's dropping. Okay, no trade for me yet, other than selling a couple of selling some of the options that I had. Wow, Apple's just dropped down to PDC. Let's do something here. What's UAL doing? Yeah, UAL really powered higher, didn't it? Okay, well, a bit of a long on UAL for that breakthrough 49. And let's see where it goes from here. Ooh, nice. All right. Going to sell some here at 49.54. Thanks for flagging UAL. That was nice. Awesome. Thanks, Jaden. I think we're going to 50 on UAL here. Is that possible? Yeah, there's R3 at 50.06. I just sold a little bit more at 60, 49.60. See where UAL is going to take us. Meta just did not perform at all. Holy crap. Okay, so we're bracking my break even on the rest of this UAL trade. It's actually, okay, it's going to come back up here. Looking for a bounce. Yeah, wow, Meta's really selling off here. What's AMD look like? AMD's not looking much better. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be there's a lot of selling right at off the get-go here, but Tesla's going to go. Just watching Tesla right now. Meta bounced back. Tesla's got a lot of orders to the upside. I have to get out of the rest of that UAL trade. Didn't work for me at all, so I ended up a little bit red on that one. I'll take some Tesla long here just to see at 252. I think it looks like it wants to go higher. There's certainly a lot of orders up there that we might get filled on. Didn't let's see what happens here. Didn't like that rejection. Let's see it come back up now. It's hanging right around the VWAP on Tesla. Okay, here we go. There's a seller there at 252 for sure. Okay, I'm getting out of Tesla. I don't like the way it's trading. Yeah, don't really like the way that orders. There's an order sitting there that they don't want to seem to drop it. Anyway, we'll take a look at what else we got to trade. Just wait for a minute. UAL is dropping more. UAL might actually go red on the day, or at least it's going to retest BDC. The market's pretty tenuous this morning. We shorted a little AMD. AMD is going to drop here, maybe make its way to PDC. All right. Wow, Meta's sort of just hanging around there. It did come back after that sell-off. Okay, here we go. Just going to cover some AMD at 160.83. Covered a fair amount of it, actually. I covered more than half of it on that drop, just because it just seems like, well, actually the Qs are rolling over here. Tesla's starting to roll over. NVIDIA's starting to drop. Hey man, nice trade on Apple. That was, I don't know, I considered doing that too. That was a nice rejection. Nice bounce off PDC. Still got some short on AMD, but I'm just not sure if it's going to keep going. We'll see. Let's see. Hold on and see where it goes. There's a big order at 160. It's going to covered some more here at 54, 160, 54. Yeah, the Qs have rolled over, eh? Interesting. Maybe we go back to PDC on the Qs. Drinks on you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Meta has not held. Tesla's at PDC now. Here we go. So let's just cover a little more here on AMD. 23, 160, 23. UAL dipped its toe into the red there and came back up. Mara sold off. Apple's going back down. It's going to retest PDC. Apple might even go red on the day. Short Apple too. It's 129. Let's cover some of that just quickly here. 170, 232, 228, 70. All right. Diddly doodly. Hey, Megan.
Good morning, Brian, and everybody.
Hey, good morning.
You seem so lonely out here, so
Yeah.
let me just keep you company. But it sounds like you might be making money, so I guess you can't
Well,
be lonely when you got money in your pocket.
No. UAL was kind of, it was unfortunate. I did take partials, but then I ended up going just a little bit red on the slippage when it sold off.
Yeah,
But,
UAL's in
IMD,
a good location for long plays this morning, but that drop or that pullback isn't great. I was looking at contracts on it out on August 9th because I want to take it for a swing, but there was zero volume out there, so I didn't get into a position on it, which I guess was probably for the best.
What are you? You're still holding your Disney trade?
I've got time on that.
Yes, you do.
I've got lots of time on those ones. So I got Disney. I'm also I also have puts on NVIDIA for August 2nd. So I've got the 120 puts on NVIDIA for August 2nd.
They're looking good now.
Yeah, they're okay. Honestly, I think if NVIDIA really decides to make a move, we talked about this yesterday during the option session. It really like $100 is, I think, where NVIDIA could go if it wants to continue. That's kind of the next place where we'll see where we saw buyers kind of in the past. So yeah, I've got that on watch. Yeah, the semis are definitely interesting. Did I hear that you said that you took Apple this morning?
We were talking about this at the close last night. I took some Apple calls long, and I had some Tesla calls long. So the Tesla calls actually worked out pretty well, but the Apple didn't. I hardly made anything on it all because it really, unfortunately, it sold off a lot just before the open. I couldn't get out of them until obviously the open. So.
Yeah, that's the tricky part about options. So yeah, for those of you that don't trade options, if you are like someone who likes to trade the pre-market or the after hours, options are not going to be your thing because you cannot get in and out of them unless it's regular trading hours. So if you want to be trading regular trading hours, you got to trade that with equities. Oh, look, Andrew's here. Good morning, Andrew. Okay. I see that he put his looks like he's got his camera up, maybe.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sleepyhead. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate
that. You got it.
I'm short NVIDIA, guys.
Thanks, Megan. I'm just going to cover some more Apple, 227.90 area.
I'm short NVIDIA on this pullback on 1 minute charts toward 120. Let's see if we can go back to the low of the day. That was a big drop on NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for covering.
All right, here we go with Apple. See, I'm getting my revenge. Those calls.
You're short Apple.
Yeah.
Well, might be a bounce potentially at something like yesterday low or 225.83.
Well, I've got 227.30-ish is S3 on Camarilla pivot. AMD, I'm going to just got a tiny bit left. I think I'm going to get out of it because it's coming back to my break even here. So
I'm getting out of NVIDIA. I covered all of my NVIDIA, guys. This one looks mixing new higher high. So on 5 minutes. So that looks strong. So that looks like let me see what Tesla is doing. So it looks like it's squeezing above the VWAP.
So I'm out of AMD, the rest, but I only had a little bit left. So still holding my short on Apple, but again, I don't have a lot of shares left. 227.30 would be good, but I'm kind of feeling like it's starting to get some buying interest.
Wow, Tesla is just not giving a pullback either, huh?
Oh, yeah, it went red and now it came back up. Oh, here we go with Apple. Come on. There we go. Come on down. Okay. That's it. Okay. I think I'm just cover more here for sure. 227.50. Oh, there's a 30. I got a 40 fill. Right on.
Long and Tesla is pullback, 251.21. Gotta get a long on Tesla here.
Just be careful. There's a seller. There's a seller there at 252. I took a loss on that one too this morning. See, are we going to hit 227? I got a few shares left in Apple just for that 227. Special for you.
227 on what?
Apple.
Oh, you're short Apple, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's add a little bit on Tesla, 251.60. Let's see if this one can go toward 252. R3 is at 252.79.
Man, are they ever selling Apple? You know what? I don't know if it's going to hit 227. Maybe. Here we go.
That is 3.
Here we go. Come on. Another dime. Ah, there we go. Got Phil. That's it.
Might be a bounce at that previous day close. Sorry, at yesterday low. Tesla is right at 251.30. I don't know if what's going to do with.
There's a seller at 252. I know that. Found that out. Wow. All right, we're down at yesterday's low on Apple. It's probably going to bounce here. Yeah, Meta's a dog's breakfast.
All right, let's see if Tesla, daily chart Tesla look like. Yeah, the daily chart Tesla doesn't look great. That's like 252. Did you see it on Bookmap?
What's that?
Yeah, that seller.
On Tesla? No, because I tried to go long up here or for this breakout and it sold off. But but the thing was there is a lot of orders up above on here, but there seems to be like a seller in this 252 area. CVD is red, which means there's more selling than buying.
Yeah, the longer that it stays here is a little bit trickier on Tesla. AMD is going to go red.
Seems like it.
All right, so let's see if it's going to go toward high of the day. 252 popped up Tesla. Let's see if you can get toward the high of the day. I haven't partialed yet. Market is popping up a little bit today, considering what happened yesterday, which was pretty bad.
Yeah, I knew we were gonna get a bit of a pop after that big sell-off. Question is, how do we finish the day here?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a long on NVDA too at 120. I'm gonna get a long on NVDA. Looks like NVDA wants to make a new 5-minute high. Back to VWAP. So I'm long NVDA at 120. Tesla, let's see if we can break the high of the day. I haven't partialed on Tesla yet. Since we're here, we might as well get to high of the day. Yeah, R3 is at 2052.77. Right, ready for partial for the break of high of the day on Tesla. NVDA is pulling back. NVDA is really junky.
Yeah.
Still long NVDA, still long Tesla. Tesla, the average is 251.40. NVDA, the average is 120.11. Well,
NVIDIA looks like it might want to break out here.
yeah, NVIDIA potentially wants to go. I mean, 5 minutes looks like it makes higher high and higher low. There you go. So we're going to go on NVIDIA. Partialing some at 120.55. I took a big size on NVIDIA. I'm sorry, partial some over there. Tesla, I'm still hopeful that we can get the high of the day. I haven't partialed yet. SPY squeezed above the VWAP. That's interesting. Right, so NVDA, I might get out of NVDA. And let me see, it's at my break-even point.
Qs are trying to bounce. Spies come back up to close to high of day, so we're getting a bit of a bounce here on the SPY. No positions for me right now.
What about the Apple? Apple bounced back at that level, huh?
And Apple's just holding, basically Apple's holding yesterday's low right now. You could say that NVIDIA is sort of making higher lows every pullback. So it does, and maybe it is gonna break out here.
Yeah, VDA. Let's see if we can. Still, the 5 minutes is kind of bullish. Tesla
just having trouble at the VWAP here. Can't get above it.
If NVDA, let's see if it's gonna go back to VWAP. If it goes to VWAP 12080, 121, I'm gonna partial it. I have a big size in NVDA. Tesla.
Yeah, there's a seller right at that 252.70 area at R3 on Tesla.
That's why I'm hoping to get to there and then start selling. That's me. That's a lot of my shares.
And honestly, I'm not seeing anything I really want to trade. I've had a decent morning. I'm just, it kind of looks like Apple's gonna go head lower, if anything.
Well, might be I would take a reversal on Apple at 225.83. I still have that. Guys, I gotta take a quick break. A 5-minute break.
Yeah, there's a Camarilla pivot S4 level at 225.40 on Apple.
Right, so I'm still long on NVIDIA and Tesla. Let's see if Tesla, I want to get to R3, break of 5 today. And NVIDIA, my stop loss is at just below 120. I want to see to VWAP. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll take a quick break. I'll be back. Sorry about that.
No problemo. Maybe Megan wants to come back on if she's still around. Intel is just grinding higher. Oh, you notice that, Kyle? I just was flicking through some other charts here. Yeah, Intel's been on fire.
You rang, Brian?
I did. I just bought some of the same puts you bought.
For NVIDIA?
Yeah.
Yeah, giddy up. Let's do this.
Did you do a vertical? Like, did you sell the 110s below it, or?
No, I didn't, but I didn't because I'm targeting 100 on this. So actually, if I was going to do any sort of vertical, I think I would probably sell, do a call spread above like 123 area. I don't have one on though. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
I don't know if 2 weeks is enough time, but we'll see.
Yeah, you were going to have another ugly event.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely feel the money rotating around, like when you're, looking at the market. So I do think money is rotating a little bit out of semis right now. So just, you never know how fast it's going to be. And that's the thing with option contracts, right? Is like, you want to buy time if you think it's, trying to get somewhere, and it might take a little while, and you just never know how long exactly it's going to take. It could happen today, and that would be amazing, but it probably won't.
Exactly. Well, and that's the difference between sort of day trading these and doing sort of long-term position trading.
Exactly.
Or swing trading. You've got to all right, so NVIDIA is starting to break out. Starting to break out here. Qs are coming back up.
Yeah,
and
the only
Apple's
problem
out.
the problem with the Nvidia today for anybody that's trying to long it is you're longing it under an area of demand that was lost yesterday. So just chart structure wise, it's not the best place on the chart to be trying to take long positions. You're kind of anticipating that it's going to break up and start a new kind of movement to the long side. So for those of you that are short Nvidia, for now you're probably a little bit safe in it, just being as far as chart area, but back and forth on like a day trade is possible. So if for those of you that are playing smaller time frames like 1 minute, 5 minute charts, there are trades to be had here. But for looking at a bigger picture sense, it's more in a spot for shorts right now.
You've got some lows going back to early July, 121. So we kind of drop below that.
Yeah, where we're hanging out today is the open price of the split day. So anybody that got in on the split, this is where they got in at. So we're kind of in a battleground area of whether or not the split buyers are going to say absolutely not, we're not going any lower and step in here, or if it's just going to kind of trickle down or not. So we'll keep an eye on it. You never know what the market's going to do.
Yep. That's for sure.
That is for sure.
Is it screaming hot there?
It's very hot. It's like in your language, like anywhere between 45, like mostly around 45 right now.
Wow.
So for those of you in the US, we're looking at like anywhere from 110 to like 115 is kind of average at the moment. So I'm melting and it's fine. I like it.
Yeah, I noticed you're not wearing a sweater this morning.
I'm not. It's been very hot. Oh man.
There goes Tesla.
I'm in the California desert. I'm in Palm Springs. So yeah. Yeah, I see Tesla. Yeah, you're right. It is bouncing. Tesla's been very tricky for traders over the past week because of the area of the bigger picture that it's sitting in. We have a lot of selling that was here previously in the past off of the weekly chart twice. So those that were bullish on this push on Tesla, on this like run up, they're trying to like really get through an area where a lot of sellers kept it down previously, like a year ago or so. And it might take some time for it to just kind of chop around in this area. And so the 250 to like 267 area is going to be tricky for a lot of like intraday stuff. But it is holding this morning. So
right.
Yeah, Tesla's always interesting. Nice moves.
One of the most actively day traded stocks, and retail traders chasing it, and that's usually good for momentum traders.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's got a decent ATR.
All right, friends over on YouTube. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the live trading with Megan, Brian, and also Andrew this morning. So, Andrew just took a quick break, and he'll be back to join you guys on the live trading again. But before we do that, guys, we got one of our moderators that's going to talk to you about something that he has mentioned quite a few times to other mentees that he mentors, and also in a lot of the webinars, which is Trade 90. And I want him to explain what that means to you. His name is John. John, welcome. And you're going to be covering for Peter tomorrow. So looking forward to hanging out with you in the pre-market show as we get ready to go at 8:30 tomorrow. Good to have you on the show, but I want to talk about this Trade 90, explain that and how that has helped many traders understand a little bit about how to set up their trading mindset.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you perfect.
Cool. First of all, it's going to be fun doing the pre-market show with you tomorrow. I haven't done a pre-market show since the channel blew up a little bit, so it's a little different now.
I'm sure you're a natural, man. We'll be fine.
Yeah, cool. I don't know if can you display that graphic in the on YouTube here, Carlos?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I came up with this acronym. Well, let me go back a bit. I am part of Peak Capital Trading, which is another company that Andrew runs, and it's his prop firm, and it's also, I mean, primarily what it is it's an education company for day trading. So we teach people how to day trade better. So we're bringing beginner traders, struggling traders, and things like that. And this has been going on since 2020. So we are currently in our 12th boot camp, and that's about to end in August 1st. And then we'll start up another one in September. And you're a part of that as well, Carlos, so you know all about it. And after about 5 boot camps of having hundreds of traders come through, I kind of started to notice patterns in what led to a successful new day trader, and then conversely what the habits were or what the behaviors were that led to people struggling. And I tried to encapsulate it all. And, I was in the Army for a while, so I love dumb acronyms. So I tried to come up with something that would say this is what you should do to try to be a successful trader. So I tell my boot campers every time we start a new boot camp, I show them this in our first meeting and say, this is what the behaviors are that lead to successful trading. And I've seen it. I'm not making this up. I've seen hundreds of traders come through, and this is what they do. And then every meeting we have every week, I bring this slide up again. I always show that to them. If you're in my group in boot camp, you have seen this over and over and over. And we just had our meeting yesterday, and I had a trader who's still trying to figure things out. And he's like, I'm really starting to realize this is exactly what I need to be doing. And I tell people it's not, trading is about the technical side of things, right? So they're having the indicators that work for you and picking the right stocks and all that, and having a strategy. Of course, it's about that, but it's much more about your behavior day to day and week to week and month to month. This is what you have to keep doing over and over and over and over to be successful trading, to grow your account. So obviously, we built this on the word trade, but the first part of it is trade one strategy. That may sound like extreme to some people. I know most people don't want to think of trading that way. They don't want to think well, I'm going to come to the market and there's only one setup I can have. I want to have multiple setups. I want to kind of take these 1-minute ORBs that Andrew does. And if that doesn't work out and make my day in the first 3 or 4 minutes, then I want to try maybe like an ABCD trade. And if I'm not making money by then, or if I want to make more, I'm going to switch to reversals later in the day. That makes a lot of sense when you start out. The problem is that it takes a lot of effort, probably at least a year or more, to truly work out the edge in one strategy. It just takes a lot of screen time and a lot of journaling and a lot of exploration. So if you want to have 3 strategies right off the bat, you're talking about tripling an already very intense effort. It's a very hard thing to do. And what better traders do is that they focus on one thing and they build out one strategy. And over time, it'll evolve into what works for you. What you started with won't be what you end with ever. But it'll work better for you. And if you come to your desk every day with this purpose in mind to say, I'm going to trade this is what I'm looking for. I'm a sniper. I'm a hunter. I'm going to go after the thing I'm looking for. I guarantee you'll have an easier time. It'll be much less stressful, and you'll learn a lot more quickly. The second part is risk reward. This mostly gets into share size and holding for target. That's really the big part here. Of course, risk involves, having to stop. We'll talk about that in the next part of this. But risk reward is mostly about don't get in too big. Get in at the correct size to make the money you want without getting stopped out too quickly, and then make sure you hold for your target on the upside. Usually I find that as people start to master this whole trade 90 idea, the last piece of this whole thing that they have trouble sticking to is reward. They don't reward themselves. As soon as they get any amount of money, well, I should say they reward themselves too quickly. So as soon as they see any green on their P&L, they start taking off shares just because they want to record a green trade. They want to journal it as a green trade. And the truth is, you can become a losing trader with a high percentage of green trades because they just won't overcome your losers. So that last part, the reward, the really hold for a substantial target is probably the last thing people tend to figure out. A is for always obey your stop. I can't say enough about that, Carlos. You know the deal. If anyone's been day trading for a little while, they know what happens when you don't obey your stop. When you move it, turn a day trade into a swing trade, a swing trade investment. I mean, these are the kind of things that truly destroy your account. You can stay in day trading a long time figuring things out if you use a small risk per trade, appropriate for your account size. And that may be very small. If you have a $5,000 account, the appropriate risk per trade could be as low as $5 per trade, honestly, as you learn, your toe into live trading. And of course, it can be more as your account size becomes bigger and you become more experienced. But yeah, if you don't figure this one out, and this is something everyone's going to mess up. I did it. I turned some day trades into swing trades and into investments, and eventually just sold things in very low value, when they were never going to come back. It's a tough lesson to learn, but it'll wreck your account. That's really how you blow yourself up. The D is for don't overtrade. And that kind of gets back to trade one strategy. So, I mean, if you truly come here every day and say, I'm going to focus on one thing, you're going to reduce your overtrading by like 80% right off the bat, because you're going to have to wait, right? You can't just take any reversal you see, any ABCD, you're kind of convincing yourself exists. But even within your own strategy, you can overtrade as well. So it's a thing. I only trade the breaks of the highs of the days, right, Carlos? That's what I'm always looking for. But there are days when so many stocks are hitting highs over and over that I can be very tempted to get into a lot of garbage, because just because a stock is at the high of day does not make it a good trade for me. I know that, but I have to control myself sometimes when, I haven't made the money I want, or I'm trying to get out of a red hole, and I just convince myself I'm seeing good high day breaks when in fact they aren't. The E is really about journaling. I had to figure out how to make an E out of that somehow with the word journal. So I just called it, endlessly refine your strategy. And that, by that, I mean to journal your trades. And by that, I mean, you have to really reflect on your trades. You have to spend some time thinking about what happened, why you got in the trade, why you got out. What were the emotions involved? What was the psychology? What were the technical aspects of the trade? What technically might have helped the trade work out, and what technically might have worked against you during the trade? You have to do reflection on all that. And it's not enough, in my opinion, to just sign up for one of these trading software tools and just dump your trading log into it every day. If you do that, it's going to spit out a lot of interesting looking statistics. It's going to make neat pie charts and all kinds of things. And you'll think you've accomplished something, but you haven't accomplished all that much, in my opinion. You really got to think about, well, the trading software, the journaling software doesn't know you were trying to trade ABCDs, for example. It doesn't know you were trying to trade reversals. So you have to get into the particular aspects of what you were trying to do and make sure that you take notes on that, which all these journaling softwares will allow you to do. They're very good at it, but you have to do that work. You got to go put the tags in for the trades and put some notes in about what happened. And then after all this, Carlos, is the reminder. You have to remember that 90% of all this trading is your mentality. It's psychology. It's in your head. I really think you can trade almost any level that offers some kind of price reaction in the market. By that, I mean, in our community, Carlos, we often watch the previous day close as a very strong level. Price often will find support or resistance there. I find the previous day high to be a very interesting level in terms of resistance, especially in the current market. So all you really do have to do, in my opinion, is choose a level that you want to fight your battles at. Like, that's where I'm going to take my trades. I know price reacts to this level. I can often get breakouts here, or I can get rejections here, and I'm gonna go after those breakouts or rejections. Following all the good behaviors of trading we talked about above. But that's where I'm going to make my stand, and that's where I'm going to develop my edge. And it's to summarize at the end here, it's really not about the perfect strategy. You'll see people you admire who you think trade well and think, I want to trade like them, and they trade at these levels, and therefore I must trade at those. Maybe. But more than likely, you can choose any level where price has a reaction day to day, and you can make your money, but it's going to come down to the behaviors we discussed above. That's most of what's going to decide your success or failure.
Yeah, I love it, man. You use this plenty of times. I've seen a lot of webinars with this. And every time I look at it, so true on what you have there. Good comment here from Ivan over on YouTube, and I get this question a lot, especially for the 5-minute ORB. I know your comment's not a question, but I'm gonna turn into a question. Oh, what would you say to someone that says, well, I have one strategy I want to focus on, but there's some periods where that strategy is no longer doesn't work well, right? Like maybe different market cycles. How would you deal with something like that?
I'll give you an answer people don't want to hear, Ivan, because it's funny you bring this up because this week stinks for high day breakouts. It has been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not happening, and it's not happening again today. And I know that if I don't get my trades by about 11 o'clock, like it really becomes like some thin.
Yeah.
What's the term? It becomes very difficult to find a trade. So yes, that can be very frustrating. My take on that is I wait through those periods and I'll look and I'll try to find the stock that's perhaps special, that's bucking the trend, and see if I can find the diamond in the rough. But what I don't do, Ivan, is I just don't, reversals or potential reversals the past few days have been much more prevalent. I just don't go out. I just stick with what I do because I truly believe there's nothing wrong with your account staying the same size day to day. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to remember, as traders, you should evaluate yourself, I think, on a minimum on a 90-day basis. Once a quarter, you should really be assessing how you're doing as a trader. Day to day is nonsense. Trade to trade is even more nonsense. But to evaluate yourself day to day is nonsense. You're just going to have red days and green days. There's going to be probabilistic streaks that you can't explain that just kind of seem inexplicable. But you have to remember this is a long-term game. There's nothing wrong with your account staying the same size today as it will be tomorrow because you just couldn't find the trade you want. And then when your market returns, you go get it. And again, if you can demonstrate that patience to wait for your market to return, you'll get better at recognizing when it is returning, and you'll only get better and better. But it is frustrating. It is truly frustrating to not have the trade you want, even though I know, I'm being a bit hypocritical here. Like, yes, I know it's not a day-to-day game, but do I get frustrated when there's not a trade on a particular day? I do. We're all human, right?
Yeah.
So he's asking also further, how do you break the high? Basically he's asking, how do you do high day breaks in a bearish phase? You actually get very good high day breaks in a bear market. And the reason for that is that bear markets will often fight very hard in the morning to reverse their bearishness, and they will often fail, and they will continue the larger bearish trend as the day goes on. But those fights in the morning become some really great opportunities. So what was the big bear year, Carlos? 2022? I think it was, or 23.
I think it was 2022. Yeah.
I think it was
2023. I can't remember.
Yeah,
we'll have to go back.
I did that. My strategy worked great in that bear market, actually, because so many mornings were fighting for direction, and that's where you get your move.
Yeah, and also you got to think about, like, when the market is bearish, the ones that are actually trending up stick out, right? Like if you have a earnings season, which we're going into now, the stocks that are really strong, that are going to be pushing higher, will stick out. You might have some opportunities there. It's just less to look at, right? I think there's always going to be something, but you're right. Different market cycles are better or worse depending on what your strategy is, and there'll always be something. It's just required to be more patient and wait a lot longer, which again, for traders, that's not easy to do. You want to hit the button.
I can't say I can back up this comment with data, but I do kind of feel that when the market is bearish, when there are sectors that become a little bit hot, they can perform better than usual. So like if most of the market's just kind of bearish, but crypto gets like a bullish run or something and it starts pumping Mara and coin, you'll see a lot of day trading attention on those stocks, which can make them move very nicely because that's, you got bulls like me looking for the long trade. And so they're all piling in.
Yeah. All right, John, appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for sharing that. Guys, take a screenshot of that. I mean, it's very, very important. Trade one strategy, risk to reward, always obey your stop, don't overtrade, endlessly refine your journal, and don't forget 90% of trading is mental. So that was John with us there. And John, people are asking, what boot camp we're talking about. I have it up on the screen. P Capital Trading is the boot camp that we run a few times a year. Next one's coming up in September. Again, look to the website. I mean, if you're completely brand new, look at Bear Bull Traders first. I want guys to come in here and be able to understand that if you know that if you're ahead of the basics, this can really help you. But if you're brand new, look at BBT first, learn the basics, learn the technicals, learn the strategy, and then you come here, you could really take advantage to go to the next level. So
I
that's
would
the boot
totally
camp that
totally agree with that, Carlos. Yeah.
that John was talking about. All right, guys, let's head back to Andrew live trading. He is back with Brian here. Let's see what these guys are up to. I know Andrew has taken a couple of trades. Let's see how he is doing at the moment. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, John.
Nice trade on Tesla.
Thanks, Carlos.
Always
Tesla
seems
being
to
in
be-
920. Tesla did the 920. Look at that beautiful 920.
Yeah. Always seems to find buyers at some point. Yeah, it really rolled over at the open there. Always Tesla seems to always do that. Really always drops down. Looks like it's going to be a short all day, and then the buyers come in. Wow. BLTR is still really bullish, but careful, it's up at R6.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. NVIDIA might. NVIDIA is kind of jerky today. Really doesn't have much of a clear direction.
No, the only one that's got real clear direction is AMD.
Due to the downside, yeah.
Yeah. And Intel, which is going the opposite way. There's 36 on Intel. JS, what did you trade there?
Market is trying to buy
Space
and
Tesla
sold
growth.
off from all-time high, but is now going back up. Tesla wants to go back to the high of the day. Tesla did a very nice 920, which is your strategy, Brian.
Yeah.
Should have added Tesla.
See, I told you knew we were going to get a bounce today after that sell-off day yesterday, and we're going to put in like an inside day, like trading within the range of where we traded yesterday. Well, here we go. AMD lost 158.
That's good.
Is anybody
AMD
else shorting AMD?
Look at AMD at S3. Yeah, semis are weak today, eh?
Hey, well, yeah, NVIDIA. Well, NVIDIA is still green, but AMD, MU, TSM is just slightly green. Wow, look at AMD. Man, oh man. Breakdown. Nice, guys. You're still in the AMD trade short. Nice one. Meta's at low of day. Okay, we're at S3 on AMD, so it's covered. PLTR. God, thing just keeps going. It's good you got out of NVIDIA. Kind of couldn't get past high of day. Yeah, IWM really came up. It was red this morning. Same with the Dow. But now we're green on all the indexes right across the board. Qs are trading back at the low of the day. The LTR finally pulling back. Looking for a long 29.50 probably is an area where it might bounce.